Hi guys, so today I want to talk to you about my top 5 tips for getting rid of fungus gnats. I feel like the age-old question is, how do I get rid of fungus gnats? Because they are perpetually always here in some capacity. So I just wanted to share with you my top 5 tips for cutting them down. I can't say that it's always 100% because I'm always bringing in plants into my collection and they could always be harvesting fungus gnats. Even though I do change out the soil, there are certain things that happen where you're never going to completely get rid of them as long as you're bringing in new plants or you're overwatering at one point, or just a lot of things can happen. So I want to share with you my top 5 tips for cutting fungus gnats down. So you won't be swatting at them and them getting up your nose, because I've had that before and it ain't pretty. It's just not. It ain't cute. So my first tip is let your soil dry out. This is the #1 way to stop fungus gnats and give them a place to not be able to thrive and harvest and have eggs and things like that. So #1 tip is let your plants dry out. Every plant, unless it's an aquatic plant, most plants like to dry out to some capacity. Just let the first inch or two dry out on your plant. The whole thing doesn't have to be dry, just at least the first 2 inches. And you'll see the fungus gnats cut down all in themselves. The second tip that I have is using mosquito bits. Now, some people get hung up on the fact that the actual substance that the bits are made out of is actually corn, and it can actually break down and make bacteria in your soil. But at the same time, working against it is the bacteria from the product on the outside of the corn working against the fungus gnats. So if the fungus gnats lay larvae or anything like that and eat the bacteria that attracts them, they're gonna die. So I highly recommend mosquito bits. Another way you could do this is get the mosquito chunks and break them up and plop them in your water 24 hours before you water your whole collection, and use that. And a great way to actually not have to use as much mosquito water is water your whole collection first. And then as a secondary thing that you do is go in with the mosquito water and just water the first top half of the soil. And that way you use less of you have to have less of the water ready, and you use less product. So you save money. So using mosquito bits. The third thing I like to do is use a systemic granular insecticide for my house plants. Now I'll put a picture right here of what I'm talking about. And I really like to mix it into the soil and water and make sure that the plant is able to soak up this product through its leaves, because not only it cuts down on fungus gnats, but mealybugs, thrips, things that want to eat the leaves of your plants. If it eats the plant, then it's going to die because it has that product in there for at least, I think it's 6 months, but you actually have to check that on me. So you actually have to check the label to figure out the time frame for that. Fourth thing that I like to do to get rid of fungus gnats is hydrogen baths. So hydrogen is $1 at the dollar store. It's really cheap, and I dilute it half and half, really. You can go less than that, some people do, but I don't find that it does anything much to my plants. And I have seen a difference in flushing out my plants from time to time. Now, you don't want to do this very often because it can get rid of the bad but also good bacteria for your plants to grow. So I wouldn't recommend this doing very often, but maybe every 6 months I'd try it. So hydrogen peroxide. And my fifth and final tip for getting rid of fungus gnats is, I like to call it my little secret, but I've started putting leca, these leca balls, which are clay balls, on top of the soil of a lot of my plants, and I found that it has really cut down on the amount of fungus gnats that actually reach the top of the soil and are able to fly around and annoy me. So I started doing this because I'm not sure. Well, people started adding this into their actual soil, and I was like, this is airy. This is not like pebbles. Pebbles, if you put like stones and like heavy pebbles on top of your soil, that will harvest fungus gnats like no other because it keeps it moist. But since these are clay balls, they're very airy and lightweight, and they allow the soil to actually dry out. So I assume that the fungus gnats like get trapped, kind of like if they were under pumice stone. So yeah, using leca balls to keep down fungus gnats is a really great way to combat them. So these are all of the tips that I use in conjunction. There's no one tip that I gave that is going to get rid of them completely, but using all of these tips in conjunction with each other are really going to make a difference in the fungus gnat population in your collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what are some things that you use for fungus gnats if I didn't recommend them already. So I will see you guys later. Mwah.